Hello everyone, welcome to the 3,000 subscribers special. Thank you all so much for subscribing. So today what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at all of the people that I've ever covered for a year in the TikTok. Even if I haven't finished their series, we're still just going to take a look at what their most recent stuff is. And kind of get a feel for where they're going. And if I have not finished a series on them, we'll get to see kind of what we get to look forward to. A lot of any responses that I have on people that I haven't finished are going to be a little bit more reserved, and I'll get into it more when I actually finish covering them. So we're of course starting off with Fat Doctor UK. That's who I started with first. It is worth noting that I'm gonna go with they because I don't fucking know. Um, I'm gonna. They've changed their profile to Dr. Asher Laramie, weight inclusive, trans mask doctor, fat activist. And these two were the ones that we left off on for them. I don't want to go over all of their new stuff, but I figure we would for each person that we're revisiting, we would take a look at the top row of what they're doing. I don't know if I'll show you guys all of it, but I'm curious about the PCOS one, because wasn't PCOS what FSB said was like hormonally intersex? I'm curious. So let's go ahead and take a look at what their most recent videos have to say. So I moved straight on to their PCOS stuff because the first video was about the conflict between Israel and Palestine. That's not something I'm really comfortable covering on this channel. There's so many emotions around it, and there's so much shit happening. Some of you may think this is a cop-out, but I kind of prefer to keep this more on the lighter side of depressing, if that makes sense. Like, seeing all these people fall into fat activism is, yes, kind of depressing, but not the heavy shit that sits on you, you know? So I don't really want to touch that because it's such a complex situation right now that I really just don't want to get into it. And by the time this goes up, it's going to be probably about a month, a little less than a month. So a lot more could even happen. And I don't want to say anything, given that I don't have, it takes me a while to form opinions. I don't have solid opinions on shit other than the death of innocence is nothing less than a tragedy. And I don't want to say anything else that I would either be putting my foot in my mouth or will age poorly by the time this goes up. So we're going to just move on to something a little bit lighter. PCOS. Is it caused by being fat? So let's see what Asher has to say, and this is 6 minutes long. We're going to just take a sample because, like I said, I haven't finished covering them. We will see all of it, but we're going to do like a 30-second flavor taste.
This week I'm going to be talking about polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS. I have a book and a course coming up that I'm going to be launching in the next few days. So I thought we'd give you a sneak peek. And this Friday I will be launching the book and the course, and you're welcome to have a look. So I'm going to deal with just 5 common myths that we're told about PCOS. And the first one is that PCOS is caused by being fat. Yeah, no, it's not. It's really not. It's interesting because we actually don't have much information about PCOS. We have very little good quality evidence. In fact, I would argue we have no good quality evidence. We have some medium quality evidence. Most of the evidence is actually either low or very low quality, poor. So we don't know that much.
So I'm going to leave it there, but already we're getting back into there's low quality evidence out there. This is, again, and this is why I don't want to get too deep into Fat Doctor UK in this video, because I simply don't have the time to bring up a bunch of stuff with everyone else that I want to cover in this video. But again, with the low quality evidence, and there's not like they're minute in, and they're trying to put up a lot of disclaimers of like why the current evidence out there isn't very good. So that's going to require some research on my part to get to, and I'm going to cut them off there. We're going to move on to the next video. Oh, and this is one that most recent row, but it's from, well, that isn't too long ago, like 3 weeks or something. But let's move on.
All right, we're talking PCOS. What is it? Well, I don't know if I've got a really good definition. It's a disorder of hormones. There are three main features of PCOS, as defined by the Rotterdam criteria. Now, the Rotterdam criteria, basically, the group of experts that sort of decided on this criteria for diagnosis, they met in Rotterdam, which is in the Netherlands, and that's why it's called the Rotterdam criteria. I actually think it's one of the ones that I quite like. You know, there's always like names for these things, you know, the something, 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 but I quite like Rotterdam criteria. It sounds really cool and quite serious. So yeah, the Rotterdam criteria that talks about three main features of PCOS. The first is anovulation or oligoovulation, which is a fancy way of saying you're not ovulating at all, or you are ovulating but not as often as you're supposed to ovulate.
All right, I'm going to cut them off there because, again, a minute into a 7-minute TikTok. We don't have the time for this right now, but so they're going down the PCOS route. They're defining it. This is definitely something I'm actually very intrigued, especially in pairing it with the FSB video. So I'll be interested to see more of what they have to say on this and look up some of my own research. Doesn't hurt to know more about PCOS. So that'll be interesting.
Happy Wednesday. Hump day, is that what it's called? Wednesday is hump day. I don't know, I work from home, I never know what day it is anymore. Anyway, we're going to talk today about managing PCOS, or managing symptoms of PCOS. I should be very specific here. So people who have polycystic ovary syndrome and have symptoms, how do we manage it? And that's a very good question, which I will go into in great detail on my course, but you can manage it in lots of different ways. I am not a nutrition or exercise specialist. I will not be going into any nutritional exercise advice because it's out of my lane, but I absolutely do, in the book and in the course and everywhere else, do link to people.
So really kind of shilling their book and course. I'm very curious. As far as I know, they aren't an OBGYN. I thought they were just like a general, like a general doctor, like a family doctor. Now I feel like I need to do more research on them. But this is interesting. They're talking about how to manage it without weight loss. They're really pushing their book and their course. So this is on the PCOS thing, but it's how can we prevent diabetes and is it worth it? This will be interesting. It's 9 minutes long. I don't have we can't spend all day on this person, so we'll go ahead and just watch the 1 minute that I've been doing. But now I'm intrigued. You guys know me. I like so many people in my family have had diabetes, and I've been warned about it and all the shit all through my childhood, all through my adulthood, things to do, how to eat, that sort of thing. So I'm really curious.
I did say yesterday I was going to be talking about preventing diabetes and whether it's possible to do it. And this is, I guess, my, my specialist subject, insulin resistance. I feel like I'm a real expert on insulin resistance. Yeah, I said it.
Wait, I'm sorry. I said I'm curious because it's like I feel like I'm a specialist. You're a doctor. You know whether you're a specialist in insulin resistance or not because that's a specific field of medicine. Insulin resistance, doesn't that follow under endocrinology? Am I wrong? I feel like it falls under endocrinology, but that's again something I will look up when we're actually back to covering them. This has sparked, though, a renewed interest in them for sure.
Prove me wrong. Fine, I dare you. Anyway, we're going to talk insulin resistance and can we prevent diabetes? And I think there are three really important questions we need to ask ourselves. Number one, like, if I have insulin resistance, what are my chances of developing diabetes? Number two, can I prevent it? Simple. And if so, how? And number three, if I can prevent diabetes, or at least prevent it for a period of time, even if I can just kind of like postpone it, as it were, for a few years, will that impact my long-term health outcomes? Those are the three questions I think are really important. Because as I said yesterday, if you are...
Okay, I could very well get sucked into this, and we're still on our first revisit, so I'm gonna leave this here. Ooh, I'm interested though. I am interested.
So, when we talk about biological sex, there's male and there's female, right? Wrong. Not true. There's male, female on either end, and then there's a spectrum in between. An umbrella, if you will. And we call this intersex. And there are many intersex people who will tell you that PCOS is an intersex condition. And I have to say, having read what they have to say, I agree, personally. Of course, you can form your own opinion. Intersex is an identity.
But you're a doctor. Surely there's some like, if you're like, I agree but you're saying it's because of what they said. What about, I mean, you've made this whole series on PCOS. You've made this whole series, you have a book, you have a course. You are a medical doctor who, well, I believe that you're just a general practitioner and not an OBGYN. Fine, whatever, but like, what about what they said confers with your medical knowledge that would validate what they said? I'm curious there.
Really, more than it is a medical condition. You know, like, doctors love to be in control and be like, we will decide who is intersex and who isn't. No. You can identify as intersex or not, but if you actually read what intersex advocates say about PCOS,
what? Oh, okay. You know what, you guys? I have to. This is going bonkers for me. I don't fucking like it. Like, we have all sorts of gender identities and stuff, and given that gender is like the mental side and sex is the physical side, like, that's fine. I think someone last count there was something like 86 different genders. What the fuck? I gotta be honest, I really don't give a fuck. That's my general thing. My general thing is what's going on with you goes on with you. I don't really fucking care. I'm totally willing to use they, them pronouns. That's fine. Anything after that starts to get a little weird for me. And when it comes to gender fluid people, while that's your thing and I totally understand, don't get pissed off at me if I use the wrong pronouns because they've changed. That's my only thing, is like, given your gender fluidity, I need a little bit of fluidity in your patience for me on that front. But other than that, fucking do whatever the fuck you want. It's your body. It's how you identify. If that's important to you, whatever. Gender was never really a big thing for me. I don't really give a fuck. So, if that's important to you, cool. If you identify as whatever, I don't even remember all the gender identities, but that's fine. Any form of non-binary, what the fuck ever, you do what you want in your own house. I don't care. But intersex, saying that, oh, we can say who's intersex, people can just identify as intersex. That's taking things too far for me. Intersex is like an actual medical condition, and to say that it's okay that people can just identify as it, it's one of those things where it's like, it feels like we're creating a place of catching, or like, for lack of a better word, catching different identities the way we catch Pokemon. Like, it just, it bugs me. It bugs me, and I've already spent, spent longer on them than I initially anticipated. We're already like 15 minutes into this recording, so I gotta move on. But goddamn. Alright, next up was the fat babe, who is now known as the bariatric babe. She's, I believe, losing weight. We're going to take a look at her top row of most recent videos. I want to give a big shout out to Nomi 2.0, who let me know that she now goes by a different name. So let's check this out.
Today is day 9 of my 75 Hardish challenge. I started my day by walking on the trail by my house, and I got a later start today, so it was already really hot. For breakfast, I had Magic Spoon cereal and some yogurt. I love this breakfast, it's so good. And of course, I was drinking water all day long. For lunch, I made a taco salad using the leftovers I had from the nachos I made on Friday night, and it was really good, but I'm learning that jalapenos just don't sit very well anymore. And for dinner, my husband got me a Happy Meal, and actually the 4-piece chicken nugget and kids fry is under 300 calories and has 12 grams of protein, so it's really not that terrible to have once in a while. I did have half of a Fairlife after dinner though, because I needed some extra protein. And then I got some reading in. I actually finished By Yourself, the F and Lilies, and it was alright. I gave it like 3 out of 5 stars, kind of middle of the road, but you know, it was good. And for everyone asking, this is the Soft Challenge app. I use it to track every day, and it's really great. And that is a wrap on day 9. Only 66 days left to go.
So she's working, and I love that she shows, like, yeah, she had a Happy Meal. Like, yes, she had McDonald's, but it was a Happy Meal. She even noted it was under 300 calories. She's fitting it into her calories, and I don't think that it's wrong to indulge in fast food every once in a while, as long as she's not doing it every day. And for fuck's sake, she had a Happy Meal. Like, it could have been worse. I'm so glad to see this. So let's see what else she's doing. This is 3 minutes, and I don't want to just, like, steal her content or anything. So if you're interested in her recipe, go check out her TikTok. It's the Bariatric Babe. So let's see what else she's doing.
We made it to day 17 of my 75 Hardish challenge, and I did not want to get up this morning, but I did it anyway, and I walked to the gym and had a really great workout, and was really glad that I got myself out of bed. And since today is rainy and gray, even though it's still really hot, I decided to lean into the fall vibes, and I added some pumpkin skinny syrup to my coffee, and it was so good.
What I love that she's doing is she's showing how she's still indulging in some stuff, like the pumpkin flavoring, while still doing it in a less calorically dense way, in a less sugary way. This is, I'm so glad to see it. She got up, she walked to the gym, she's doing her workout, she's doing what she needs to do.
Holiday time with my animals. This is Ripley. She is a sweet baby angel. I also realized that my kitchen was an absolute mess, so before I made breakfast, I cleaned that real quick. And today's breakfast is one of my faves. I made avocado toast on solo bread with a fried egg on top. It is delicious. I highly recommend. And then I had my first vitamin of the day. I have to space these out 2 hours before I take my calcium chews, so I took that now. And then I clocked into work and ate my breakfast. Another fave, today for lunch I made tuna with light mayo and relish and used cucumbers to like scoop. So good. It's Monday night, so after work it was straight to class. And then more fall vibes, I made turkey chili for dinner. It was my first time making chili and it was so delicious. And then I read my book before bed, and that is a wrap on day 17. 58 days left to go.
She's really working hard. I'm so glad to see this. If she does any more of these days of some of her other videos are just the days, I'm gonna not cover, like, we've gotten a sample. I don't want to just steal her content. And I'm so proud of her. She's doing all the things she needs to do to get healthy. And she's really working hard. And it's just so wonderful to see. So let's see. I'm gonna just click through her other videos real quick. I don't want to just show her, considering I don't have much to say. So we'll see up until her last video, and I'll show her last video unless something worth commenting on comes up.
So let's talk a little bit about why I chose to pursue bariatric surgery. In my last video, I talked about how I thought this was a very important decision and something that I really took my time with, and it's a life-altering decision. So it definitely took some thinking about and doing pros and cons about why this was for me. But basically it all boils down to I kind of have to. So about 7 years ago, I started experiencing really debilitating back pain and nerve pain, and it just couldn't figure out why. And it took 7 years of going to different doctors and really trying to advocate for myself. But as any fat person will tell you, that doctors just do not like listening to us. So it took 7 years for them to even order me an MRI. I got several x-rays in that time, but never anything past that. They would just say, oh, it's just because you're fat. And so it took it to the MRI for them to find out that, oh, it's, yeah, but like not quite, and like that's not the only cause. So I have PCOS, which creates excess cortisol, which then created excess fat tissue to grow around my spinal cord and essentially like pinch it off. So I was essentially paralyzing myself. And so I spoke to several neurosurgeons, and they said that there is a surgery that they could do, but they don't recommend it because they've never had good results. It just kind of leads to more issues because you have to remove part of your spine. And so the only thing that they have seen results with is people losing a lot of weight, and losing weight will create less fat tissue. So they recommended weight loss surgery. And at first I was like, hell no, like I didn't even consider it. But after I spoke to several neurosurgeons, I decided that, okay, I'll look into it. And so I started doing it, and thankfully...
Can I just say, though, that this requires a level of self-awareness and intelligence that we don't often see, like, in the fat acceptance realm. She had the initial reaction of, no fucking way, no way, I'm not doing that. And then she thought about it. And it's like she had the realization that maybe the fat is part of the problem. And so she went back and I'm so happy that she did what she needed to do rather than try to double down and just blame doctors for not having better treatments. Because you and I both know that there's some FAs, we can think of some FAs out there that would be like, well, this is just bullshit medicine, they're not even trying, sort of thing. And she's like, no, what they're suggesting makes sense. And while I may not like it, that's what I need to do to get healthy.
I have a lot of people in my family that have had the surgery. My in-laws both have had different bariatric surgeries, and I have friends and people that I know that have had it. So I had a lot of people to talk to. And after talking with them, weighing the pros and cons, I decided I want to be able to walk. I'm 26 and I haven't been able to walk in 7 years. I can walk for maybe like 5 minutes before I need to sit down. And so I can't live the rest of my life that way. And so that is kind of the boiling point as to why I decided to do this. And if you have any other questions about bariatric surgery, please leave it down below and I'd be happy to answer them. Thanks for watching, guys.
You're doing what you need to do for your health. I love this. I love this. Someone who's like, I want to be able to walk. And right now, losing weight is the answer to that. And she's pursuing it, and we've seen her other videos. She's going at it full force. I love it. So this last TikTok was just her talking about her new treadmill that she bought. It wasn't too expensive as far as treadmills go, given that it has over a 300-pound weight limit. And she's just doing the damn thing. And this was from, I think this was pinned. I think this was a pinned video, because now I see pinned videos, but they don't always say that they're pinned. It's annoying. But she's posting, we got to see, I think these top 3 were her pinned videos. This one, there was a lot to talk about her being uncomfortable even sharing it, so I didn't want to show it in its entirety, the new treadmill, and then her reason for weight loss, but we can see she's thinner here. So that's what she's doing. She's doing what she needs to do to lose weight, and I wish her all the best. And if you are so inclined, I hope you will go to her TikTok and give her love. give her encouragement, give her positivity. Alright, so here's Miracle Megs. Before we go into any of the videos, so if you guys should hear any noises, my dog broke into my room. She broke down the door to get in here. And she's currently rubbing herself all over that macrame rug I made. She seems to really like the texture. So if you guys hear noise, I'm sorry, she's just here, she's doing her thing. But let's see what Megs is doing. Well, it says Megs Max, so I don't know. Let's just go ahead and take a look.
I just want to remind people that on this app, you do not owe anyone anything. If some random stranger comes into your comments and starts berating you and being a total asshole, or if they respond to you on some TikTok video that you commented on and they're being an absolute asshole, block them. Why not block them? There's no reason not to block them. It's better on your mental health. You don't have to respond to them, and you don't have to read their bullshit anymore. Please stop putting up with emotional abuse and hateful actions and behaviors from others. You don't deserve that. If someone invalidates your identity, block them. Anyone that steps out of line on my page or replying to a comment with me, I just block them. I don't need that emotional stress. I already stress myself out way too much. Lots of these people are just trolls and they want to get a rise out of you, or they are genuinely hateful people. Take care of yourself. Keep the toxicity out of your life. You don't deserve to be talked down to like this.
So, the thing is that I don't completely disagree with this. I think if someone is just trolling you and being an asshole, then yeah, just block them. Like, don't feed the trolls. Like, I really miss that saying, don't feed the trolls. So just block them and ignore them. That's totally fine. The issue I kind of get in with just a little bit is the idea that trolling can come from, like, just criticism. Criticism is now trolling. We see that with FSB a lot. And criticism and trolling are two separate things. Ultimately, though, like, if it's really an all or nothing thing for you, either you feed everything and you can't discern between the two, or you just block everyone, then I think blocking everyone is the better way to go. But let me know what you guys think of this. Okay, so I skipped several of her TikToks. I have a hard time going too hard on Megs here because she strikes me as pretty young. She behaves very young. And I feel like she's kind of trapped in her own mental space a fair amount. Her TikToks were not controversial or anything. It was just, it was a little bit cringe, a little bit trends, just that sort of thing. Wasn't terrible. And so far, nothing fat acceptance related. And now my dog has decided she has finished scratching herself on my rug and now wants out of my room. It's Lily's house. I just live in it. So there was nothing fat acceptance-y here. It doesn't seem like she's changed at all, really, though, from when we covered her a while back. She seems to still be very much in her anxiety and in her rumination and stuff. And I genuinely hope for her that she finds peace someday. I hope that, because I had high anxiety in my early 20s, late teens, early 20s, even early teens. And then during college, something broke in me and I just stopped giving a fuck. And I genuinely hope that for her, because not giving a fuck is wonderful. But I wish her the best. I think right now, Megs, I think, is someone that is a kind of vulnerable person that's easily influenced. And I hope she gets influenced towards things that will ultimately help her, and not movements like the fat acceptance movement that is only going to increase that rumination tendency and seeing attackers everywhere, you know? So I hope the best for Megs. So here's Fat Girl Flo, and I think her bio has changed. There's like a lot of nuance. Okay, so let's take a look at her top 5 most recent. Chances are, since a lot of this looks like just fashion stuff, I'll probably cut it out, but I'm gonna just take a look for the sake of it.
Do not care if someone gets weight loss surgery. In fact, I understand it in a million different ways. especially when you have chronic pain, stuff like that. It's hard to even get care when you are fat and people don't even pay attention to you until you're willing to consider weight loss surgery. But I refuse to stand by and listen to people talk in a way that is so painfully ableist about their bodies and about things like love, like not being a good parent if you can't do certain things.
Okay, just because she's being vague about it, so this can be taken a couple different ways, but I'm going to just take it in that someone said that she probably couldn't be as good a parent as she would be if she were thinner. And the big difference here, and she's calling it ableist, the big difference between the situation of a fat person being a parent and maybe not doing as much as they could and being limited in what they can do with their kids is different from someone with like born mobility issues or mobility issues as a result of an accident or something. Those people can't change their situation at all. So they are the best parent that they can be because they have done everything that they can to do everything that they can for their kid. They are working their situation to the best possible end result. That someone can be disabled and still be a fantastic parent. The big difference here is, let's say there's a flight of stairs that goes to like the best park in the area. Okay? Best park in the area. But it's only accessible by those stairs. Parent in a wheelchair can't get up those stairs. And that doesn't make them any less of a good parent because it's something completely outside of their control. They can't exercise their way up those stairs. A fat person, a fat parent, sees those long stairs and knows that they're not going to be able to get back down because their weight is so much on their joints. But they don't make any effort to lose the weight. Their kid is dying to see that, and their limitation is fixable. Their limitation is purely from their weight. Their weight, which is changeable. Their weight, which can be fixed. There's a big difference there. If the fact that I guarantee in her mind that would be like the same, like they would be on the same, like I don't see how you can see how those two circumstances are equal. Not everyone's going to be able to see that amazing playground. And it's unfortunate. Parent in the wheelchair deserves a ramp. The fat parent needs to lose weight to get up those stairs.
It's not fucking cool, man. Nobody personally owes me an explanation for what they're doing with their body. In fact, I don't give a fuck what you're doing with your body. But I want to talk about this idea that you're not a worthy parent if you can't actively do physical tasks with your child. It's wrong. It's false.
I use the stair metaphor as an example. The truth is that if the child of the fat parent didn't get up to, like, it's not that big of a deal either. But my point being is, like, you say if the parent can't do physical tasks, to what extent can't they do physical tasks? And to what extent can those tasks be made possible if they exercised more or lost some weight? And how big of a parent are we talking? Because again, things get muddied with fat acceptance. So a parent that's 250 pounds, when a healthy weight for them is maybe 170, yeah, there's probably some limitations. They probably can't run as fast or as far with their kids, or maybe they need more breaks. But functionally, the child isn't experiencing something too outside of the norm, you know? And then you have a child whose parent is 500 pounds, 400 pounds, whatever. They can't go on like a shopping trip, just an average shopping trip together, because the parent constantly needs to take breaks and sit down. there's just, I wish it wasn't so vague about it. I would like more specifics.
There are a million really great parents that are disabled. There are tons of aunts. I'm an aunt.
Again, you're equating disabled with fat, and those two are two separate things. Fat is fixable. Being disabled is not. Being disabled means that the person is living the life to the fullest extent given the cards that they were dealt. And I just don't, like, I would think that most disabled people, if becoming fully able-bodied was just a matter of eating right and exercise, I think, granted, I'm not disabled and I truly don't mean to offend anybody. So please correct me if I'm really outside the realm of reason here. I would think that most disabled people, if all they needed to fix their disability was to eat right and exercise, and even if exercise seemed impossible in the beginning, many people told them, give it a couple of months and it gets easier. I would think most would go for it.
Who still manage to have incredible relationships with the kids in their life without playing soccer with them. Recently I went to Disney with the kids in my life.
Aunt is different from parent. Aunt is different from parent.
Who I love deeply, and we had an incredible time. Being fat does not preclude you from activity, and it's ableist to say that it does.
I disagree. I disagree with that. I'll let her finish, though.
There are a lot of fat influencers getting weight loss surgery, and listen, that's their choice. Living in a fat body is fucking hard a lot of the time. Society isn't making it any easier on us. I just want to say one thing about it, and that is a lot of influencers say things like, I want to be able to play with my kids, or I want to be able to go for walks with my kids. And I have a pretty big problem with this narrative.
You aren't a parent. You don't have the daily task of, maybe your kid wants to go to the park and the park's right down the street, but you're too fucking tired because walking a block is too much for you. You don't, way to be fucking judgy of those that made the decision to lose weight. You're on your fucking high horse. You don't even have kids. Fuck off. I know I made the whole metaphor about parents, and we all judge parenting at some point. But, she's getting pissed off because of the narrative that fat parents are giving about their decision to lose weight and become not fat parents because they've experienced what it is to live the daily life of a fat parent. What happened to listening to authentic voices? What happened to that? Oh, it doesn't suit your narrative anymore, does it? So that parenting video was the most interesting thing to happen. There was one follow-up to her parent one, but it featured a lot showing a child, and I'm even going to block out the video on this. I'm editing me block out the video because I just don't agree with showing children on social media I just don't want any part of it on my channel. It makes me uncomfortable because the kids don't have the full capabilities of understanding what it means to post them on social media, especially to put forth any sort of point, social justice point. I don't approve of it and I don't like it, so we're gonna move on. Alright, so here we are with Gigi Peach. Full cream, fat, white, and extra sugar engage with kindness and respect. So we're gonna go ahead and watch her most recent 6 TikToks-ish. I'll probably cut several out, but here we go. So actually it turns out that these 3 were the most recent. These were pinned, even though it still says it doesn't. It doesn't say that it's pinned right up here, but Gigi didn't really say. Gigi just seems to be doing Gigi, and Gigi's doing her life. So, it just seems kind of like more or less the same. She doesn't really seem to have changed at all since we last saw her. So I have really, like, nothing else to really say. And I'm sorry you guys didn't end up seeing anything. There really was nothing to show. Yeah, I don't see any. I think she just, it's like the average TikTok of her life. So we're going to just go ahead and move on. So Marissa is another person that I did not finish. But she is back on. I've actually been taking a look at some of her stuff since she went public again. And she's back on the fat acceptance bandwagon full force. So we're going to do a quick sampling of her content. And I don't want to get too deep into it because I do still plan on, at this point, I plan on returning and covering her completely. So we're going to just do the last 3.
I'm the problem because I don't want to listen to someone who is harassing me with unwanted health advice. Yeah, okay, I'm the fucking problem. Leave me the fuck alone. Get off my page. I shouldn't have to block you for you.
So she's back at screaming at people. I skipped the first one because it had copyrighted music and it was just a meme. Yeah, to a degree, I agree that she doesn't, like, have to listen to anyone in her comments. She's like, I shouldn't have to block you. It's social media. If you don't want to see unsolicited opinions and unsolicited advice, then you're either going to have to private your profile again, or you're going to have to block a bunch of people. That's just the nature of social media.
I have asked you to leave me alone, to go away, to stop giving me unwanted health advice. I have told you to leave my page, that you're not welcome here. And I have said each of those things at least 10 separate times in 10 separate comments. And you have ignored every single thing that I have said. So yes.
So this person says, not harassing you, just being upfront. I see people like you every day living in fear. And her caption says, reposting this because apparently describing how someone harassed me is problematic when I'm doing nothing wrong here. Reposting for a 3rd time.
You are harassing me, so you need to leave me the fuck alone, because I shouldn't have to fucking block you for you to respect me saying no. I do not want your health advice. You are actively harming me by continuing to give me unwanted health advice that I did not ask for. You can think that you're right and you can think that you're not harassing me, but the matter of the fact is that you are wrong and you are harassing me. I have said no, and everything after that is harassment. Now go away. I have asked...
Again, she seems to have a little bit of a warped view of what's harassment and consent and that sort of thing. Girl, why not just block him? She's like, I shouldn't have to block you to get you to leave me alone. I don't know what makes her think she has that much control over strangers on the internet. Just block him. I gotta be honest, I don't understand why she does half the things she does. Like, when she took that period of time off before she blocked me after FSB's, like, tirade, when I was still able to see her content while it was privated, she seemed to be doing, like, pretty well. Like, I was fully prepared to just not finish the series on her, not cover her anymore, because she was doing so well. She was just living her life. I'm sure she was still fully in the fat acceptance, but it didn't come across that way at all. She was clearly, like, living her life, having fun, going to concerts, meeting with friends and stuff, and I'm like, I'm not gonna shit on someone that's just, like, living their life. Like, she's not screaming at the camera anymore. I'm not gonna do it. And yet here she is. She's, like, back on the tirades. It's really unfortunate. And now because she's back on her warped view of consent, I've kind of felt the need to cover her again. So we'll see. She's in the fat acceptance picker wheel thing. So, Fat Sapphic Bro, the vast majority of these I am not covering. They had a loss in their family, and I have no desire to cover their struggle with that loss. That's just a crossing too much. They've talked a little bit about their time on testosterone. Again, don't feel the need to cover that at all. Some body check-ins. Why even cover it? These two up here are pinned from I don't know how long ago. And the truth is, I don't really feel... I'm tempted to cover the exercise one, but I don't, because I kind of just don't want to get into another bullshit fight with them. If you're interested, you can check their page is public. You can see it yourself. But I'm going to cover one thing because there's some parallel here. They lost a loved one just like I did. I lost a loved one first, and I'm sure most of you didn't see it because I deleted it almost immediately. And so it made me block them on every social media site I could find them on that I also have. And with that post, they put the post of me losing that I posted on the community tab of me losing my family member, and how I just wanted to cover something lighthearted. I put cringe at the time, but I didn't end up covering cringe. I covered like Fat Fairy Princess, something a little bit more positive. I just wanted positivity at the time, or something like less heavy, because I had been dealing with the Fat Sapphic Bro shit and then lost my family member right after that. And in the comments of that community post, not only did they share it, they posted it, it's still a TikTok on their page, but then they had posted a comment calling me by the name that they found from my old gaming account. I don't know if they ever found the old gaming account, or because was connected to a couple of things that I didn't realize it was connected to in relation to my Google account. So I still am not 100% sure of where they found. I have a pretty good idea, which means they didn't find out much. So I have a pretty good idea of where they found that information, especially since only that name and not a last name was attached to that account. So I have a pretty good idea of, because I had a fake last name to go with it too, and because it was a video game character, and they didn't comment though. So I highly suspect that they I have a good idea of where they found it, but they'd respond to that community post calling me by that name, and then just fucking berating me for making cringe content. I don't even remember the entirety of the comment. I just remember it was my breaking point. It made me go, I'm so fucking done with this person, because I just lost a family member. I was trying to bury myself in something, because that's how I deal with stress and grief. I bury myself in projects. Anytime I'm stressed, I start 1,000 new projects. That's just the way I am, because my mind doesn't deal with overwhelming emotion really well. So I need to sublimate it into activities. And the comment, to a degree, broke my tolerance a bit. And I went and I blocked them on everything, and I deleted their comments. They can still see this video, because that's how YouTube works, and that's fine. I genuinely don't have any desire to start more shit with them, and I don't have any desire to be in the mud with them, and I won't be covering them anymore. And while I'm sure some of you may have liked a follow-up on them, I'm sorry, this is as much as we get, because I just don't want to start shit with them again. So, Splotchmaker, I don't know what the fuck happened. So they've privated their account. I heard that there was some sort of beef that happened. I don't know what fucking happened. If anyone knows anyone or any video that covered Splotchmaker and what happened that made her private her account, and what the fuck went on and what fucking happened, will you let me know? Because I want to know. I got a little glimpse that somehow there was drama, but I don't know what the fucking drama was about. I don't know what sparked the drama. I don't know what led her to privating her account. I don't know shit. So if anyone knows, please let me know in the comments, because I'm desperate to know what happened. So we have about another 8 people to cover, but this is already an hour in, so I guess this is going to become a 2-parter. So I will see you guys tomorrow, because this is part of the 3,000 subscriber special, and I'll outline it more tomorrow. But this is what I have for you guys for today. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.